Okay, so it's been a second since I revisit some of Jack Stauber's work, and given that my breakdown of Jack Stauber's Opal is the hottest and most watched video in my channel, I figured it was time to break down another one of his masterpieces and one of my favorite explorations of existentialism and life in the form of a grocery shopping trip. Shop a Pop Opera, which by the way is one of the best titles to anything ever. Like, it literally rolls off the tongue. It's so fun to say. Shop a Pop Opera, shop a Pop Opera, shop a Pop Opera. I can say that for years and not get tired of it. In the same nature as Opal, this one also follows a musical structure with a mix of various animation styles. We know our boy likes stop motion animation, 2D animation, and it's a very stylized way to tell a story. Very much his trademark at this point to do it this way. Also, the image and the sound are altered to come across as vintage video VHS, and all of this sums up for a sweet short musical with an existential crisis sprinkled on top. In this one, we follow our main nameless guy who, for all intent and purposes, I'ma just call Guy, as he goes through his shopping list at the grocery store, and one of the most mundane and boring adult things to do. I see myself in Guy just bumping into weird characters while trying to shop. We open the short with Guy at one of those free sample kiosks for yogurt, and he just cannot decide between two yogurt samples. This tells us a bit about Guy's character. This might signal that he has problems making big decisions in life. Now, am I saying that picking out a yogurt sample is a big decision? No, but it might reflect in his everyday life that he's not very assertive, not very decisive enough. He moves on without picking one to come across our first existential allegory in the form of milk and an old lady whose character design is literally just like a carton of milk come to life. I think it's really funny how she asks him if he's deaf, but she's the one that can't hear him well. Like, he reaches for the cookies the old lady is asking for, and just like that, she is gone. What I took as a comment on just how quick life is, and one moment you're right there and the next you're gone. And then the song starts.
What kind of milk were you? What kind of life did you live through?
This is the first song after the opening title, and I genuinely feel this melancholy and self-reflection bubbling up inside of me every time I hear this, as it quite literally poses the question, what are you doing with your very limited finite time on this earth, and have you been a good carton of milk before you expire? And it uses this very disturbing image of the old lady to illustrate how this very expiration date is gonna happen to all of us. Plus, she was kind of rude to our main guy, so she was sour. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's move on. Following up to that, he picks a newer one and moves on to bread, and Guy comes across this artisanal bread, and we get instantly introduced to the next shopper, right? A man with a very arrogant facial expression and mannerisms that reflect how narcissistic he really is. He explains that the bread is for his dog, and he is so self-centered that he can't even get a joke Guy made.
Was your dog artisanally bred? No, I said he eats it. Are you deaf?
Funny enough, this customer also asked if Guy is deaf when he is the one that didn't listen to what Guy was saying. Next song starts, and this one is about living through appearances, showing off what you eat and what you dress with just to impress and have people's approval. And that is something that goes on a lot in today's culture, with people constantly trying to one-up each other on social media and stuff. We got a bunch, and I meet a lot of people just like this guy, and this song basically pokes fun at the notion of living life in that manner, and what happens when you're stripped of all of that, what you presume, what do you got left. Also, the song slaps, so it's one of my favorites. Moving on to the next encounter, this one isn't a customer but an employee in the store, and a jar fell and broke, and while the employee cleaned the mess, he cuts his finger. And little backstory here, I actually used to work at a supermarket, and this representation of supermarket employees is 100% accurate. After week 1, they all looked gaunt and depressed, just like this. He starts busting out some deep poetics about the mess, and we jump into the next song. And this one goes on about the unpredictability of time and basically how life and the whole universe is a mess, expanding by the nanosecond. And this one is shorter, but it leads right into the next encounter. We move on to oatmeal, and this guy's head literally looked like a bowl of oatmeal. Or shit, I don't know, you shoot. This nut job has everything planned to the minute, everything meticulously set up, and he has gone crazy for it. Our guy actually considers having oatmeal as every meal forever just to stick to a routine, and we start up our next song.
I could have oatmeal for breakfast, then oatmeal for lunch, oatmeal for dinner as well. At the sound of the bell, I could have oatmeal wake up and oatmeal brush my teeth. Go to my oatmeal job, oatmeal home, oatmeal sleep every day.
This one is a critique on, well, just that, just giving your life over to a routine and trying to control every aspect of it. And that works until it doesn't, until something unexpected happens. And I love what Stauber did here with the song. The whole thing goes off beat and becomes unpredictable. The vocals and the rhythm don't match, reflecting the very message of the song. I love it. Moving on the list, we got coffee, and this next customer looks exactly like a coffee mug. They even added a little detail of the steam with the little hair stuck up. This is hilarious. This woman is clearly addicted to coffee. She is full of energy in 1 second, and the next she shuts down until she takes another sip. Then she confesses she forgot to pick her son up from daycare. She is clearly consumed by this drug. She also asks Guy if he is deaf, and that has become a motif throughout the short. In a very ironic way, every one of the customers are not hearing how contradictory and crazy they sound, yet they call our guy deaf. The word need pops up, and that is the main theme of our next song, needing something. It's basically about addiction, and just in general, but they're using coffee as a drug to portray it. And sometimes people forget coffee is a drug, probably the most socially accepted one right now. The song just uses it to portray the dependency people create on substance just to function. And I like the ending, when the coffee is just trying to tempt the guy, and the guy says,
but it feels better to check than to reflect. Oh.
Just a lovely song. And at the end, he picks a decaf coffee. He ain't falling for it. Right after that, we move on to the last thing on the list, and that is cheese. And this is fun. They do a little play on words for the 5 stages of grief with cheese names, basically, and it's just a glorified pun fest. So it's kind of cheesy.
Boo! You suck!
But it was Gouda though. Yeah, thank you for clicking on this video. I bet you're not regretting it at all. He picks without looking, leaving Chance decide what cheese he's gonna take home, and it ends up being something super nasty, and then he says,
I could have picked something better than that.
and that is when he realized that he finally has the power to choose and takes the first step into becoming a much more decisive person. He reflects on every lesson he's learned, and then he goes back to the sample stand to finally choose what he wants. Guy went through an entire character arc in this shopping trip, and Jack Stauber has shown yet again how brilliant he is by taking something as mundane as shopping and turning it into this, a musical journey through this guy's growth. And this ending, I like it so much more because this ending is so much brighter and uplifting than Opal's, which delved into the darkest corners of the human mind and soul. But this one shows us the ability to grow. All you gotta do is follow the shopping list. That is all I have for you today, guys, and thank you again for clicking on this video and liking and subscribing for more content like this. Yeah, tell me, what do you think about this little Jack Stauber shirt? I was meaning to do a video on this right after I did the original video I made a couple months back about the opal short, but I never got around to it. I got caught up in other stuff, so I never quite did it. But it is here now, and hey, how you doing? Here's my cat Suki. Yeah, all right, go ahead, go be a cat. So yeah, thank you again for get off the table. So yeah guys, thank you again for watching all the way till the end. You can follow me at caffeine.prince98. I don't have Twitter because I hate it, and Facebook is for the family. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.